Welcome to Battletech of the Endosteel, Season 3, Episode 3, 3038, Part 4. Probably. I don't know. I didn't actually have my notes open, so I did that from memory. Could be wrong.
I hope it is.
So good.
You hope it's wrong? Okay.
Well, you know,
What's wrong with you? I want my friends to flourish.
you know what? That's a good point. You
I'm
know
a
what? I take it
non-flourishing
back.
kind of person.
You're
So,
a cactus. You're always flourishing
Uh,
because you're unkillable.
in the desert.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to salvage that. I hopefully that it was not bristly. I love you, dude.
I'm like a cactus because I'm always surrounded by the color green behind me. There you go.
There you go.
I
There
saved
you
it for
go.
you.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's definitely not my chloroplast. It's entirely envy.
Yeah. You all have traveled to a system. That system is called the Cephi system. There you have found humans. Humans who are locked in mortal combat with the fungus, the Grey Blight. These men and women, the elite of the elite, pilot war machines known as 200-plus-year-old agromechs that are falling apart and have... When I said these things had machine guns, I don't mean Battlemech level machine guns. I mean like Brownings. Right? Like... the
Yeah,
level...
like
there's like one
attachments.
good gun on each of these machines left. Like what they'll have like one laser and then like a bunch of hand weapons, like a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher, or you know, like a cluster
Oh,
of
that's
4
cute.
machine guns. It's
Yes.
not the best equipment
So,
you've ever
they
seen.
got the bolt-on stuff from Solaris.
Yeah.
they can't open up the mechs anymore. They don't have the technology to rearm the AC5, so they just put a mortar on the side of it.
Yeah. So what you're saying, AP, is that like if we were to drop with a grasshopper or with something that had, you know, oh fuck, what's the
Okay,
big
let
gun?
me stop
We
you.
need a fluid gun for like Agent Orange.
Oh my god,
Oh,
fluid
yeah.
gun. Amazing.
You know what I mean? We need
I
a
mean,
fluid
oh,
vehicle of just the most extreme, whatever defoliants. Is that what they're called?
I did have the
Anti-plant.
So
Yeah.
look, here's the thing. One Battlemech is very impressive, but at some point the pilot will fall asleep or maybe get a cup of coffee, and then the thousands and thousands of people on the planet will stab them to death. One Battlemech does not take a planet in the same way that one F-16 does not occupy a country, unless that country is Sealandia. That's a real, it's an oil rig.
we
off
all
the coast of
we all
Great
remember
Britain.
Kim.com. Yeah, dude, we
don't
were
know.
around in 2007.
Right. Some
Oh,
people
man.
who
Just
watch
kidding,
the
it was
show may
2014.
not have been around in 2007, but
Really? How old would that be? You got a lot of
15.
My God, I was like, my
watching
God,
this?
they're almost in the workforce.
15,
if
I
you're-
guess, is definitely old enough that they.
If you're 15 and working, I'd like to and watching this, I would like to formally apologize to you. You're a queen, and I love you.
I don't know. Some people, you know, work on the family farm. Why you gotta?
That's what I'm saying. I
Am I
apologize to them. I'm sorry you caught us stray.
Yeah,
You're
there's
great.
nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, nothing but respect. I was working when I was 15. I feel that.
I
That
was
sucks.
not.
I just doubt that there are many 15-year-olds watching this.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't think I'm popular with the?
Yeah, you're not on TikTok.
That's true. I'm not on TikTok. You don't think I'm popular with the Zoomer generation? Let's see. You got listen.
Dude.
You guys
You
have
were-
shit to figure out. Let me tell you this. What's happening right now is that now that the threat is clear, no one can reach your jump ships or drop ships, right? They're pulling
Yeah.
all of the fighters back in. They're bringing the drop ships back in. It is a timely process. Launching it all in a chaotic mess because you don't know what's happening on arrival is one thing. Recovering it takes a lot longer. It's a very slow process. So all of the captains and commanders and admirals are all pretty occupied, but they have made their combined science officers and sensors available to you, as well as the communication suites. You each have a outgoing channel that you can send messages on. Obviously, the whole array is currently being used to direct spaceships to dock to larger spaceships which will break in half if you hit them hard enough, which is very bad. So it's not like you can just be like, all right, I use all the communication bandwidth possible. It's busy. It's busy on the bridges of these ships. There's a flurry of activity outside. And some of you are just stuck on random ships, but you have to decide what your objective is going forward. What is your objectives and what is your plan? And I'm going to go figure out how the zoomies feel about me.
Well, while you do that, yeah. So
yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to put it out there. Like, I think, we did that comms roll, and we did that science roll, so we know roughly what the situation is on the ground. We don't know what the facilities are like on ground. So maybe that would be one thing to kind of determine if they have like a big comms ray or comm station that may have intercepted the signal we're looking for. Or if there's like satellites in orbit or, stations somewhere in the East system that we're not, like, we're focused on this planet, right? Because that's where the signal came from, where we got contacted. But our goal is to get a bead on a signal, right? Is that correct?
There is only one station on the ground that appears to be capable of communicating with you at this time. Now, just to be clear, you haven't been in this system for very long. So as the planet rotates, other ground stations may come into contact. But right now, the only system from which you have received communications from appears to be a large city, one of the largest perhaps, which has designated itself High Sierra. You received a transmission from it from someone claiming to be the speaker for Second Protector Jameson.
Right. Okay.
Right.
As far as you can tell, it's not like these people don't have radios to talk to each other, but their signals don't appear to reach out towards you. All you're getting is like signal garbage coming from the other cities. It just doesn't penetrate the atmosphere and reach this far in a manner that you can decode.
Fair enough. So as far as we can tell, like the infrastructure for communication across the planet has been compromised in some way. Is that true too? Like, how they would bounce signals off of satellites to communicate
There are no
across the planet?
satellites here. Whittington doesn't really have satellites either.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The technology isn't there yet.
Yeah, it's Battletech. Satellites are very rare outside of particularly high-tech worlds.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, so I think
I mean, like Solaris, right, is going to be covered in satellites, as are all the capital worlds, and any world that has like a Battlemech facility on it is going to have satellites. But the thing is, every time one of those facilities gets raided, the first step is to blow up all the satellites.
So lots of debris in space. Yeah, so I think I think what makes sense is to gather in the command center, in the most robust command center, so we have the ability to.
You're going to have to wait for the ships to finish docking then, which will take several hours. That's perfectly fine, just to be clear. It's just, if you want to move very quickly, you don't have time to wait for that.
Got it.
Again, also to be clear, quick is a very relative term, because at one gravity of acceleration, the trip to the planet is going to take 4 days.
Oh. Do we have any vehicles, and this is just me kind of recollecting what we have, do we have any vehicles that would be good for scouting on the other sides of the world before we get there?
You have a bunch of aerospace fighters. Also, you can just wait for the world to turn.
That's true.
I mean, but sending the aerospace fighters to just like scout the space isn't a terrible idea anyway, right?
Yeah. If they have enough sensors, or they have the ability to take video or camera, kind of like spycraft, to be able to at least get a sense of what the rest of the world looks like, might
Okay,
be
understand
interesting.
that anyone you send on this mission will not return home for 8 days.
Oh,
They will
Long
be
time.
trapped inside the cockpit of their aerospace
yeah,
fighter
yeah.
with an extended fuel kit and a reconnaissance kit and like a piss bag. That's about it.
That seems
And a
bad.
lot of triple F burgers.
Yeah, that seems bad.
Then I would say let's
Now,
move.
look, it's not like these people
Let's just
aren't
go.
trained to do it,
Yeah, yeah.
but anyone you send, it will be a punishment, not an honor.
Okay, well, two things. All right, so we came to this system because of the signal that we're looking for from that, like Xenia told us about.
Yes, Xenia told you
Does
that.
have we narrowed it down beyond system, or is it
No.
just somewhere?
Yeah. So that's what I want to do.
This system has one of the 3 parts of the signal that you need.
So as opposed to just sending them to the planet, could we just send some aerospace fighters out just to look around for the signal?
You could send aerospace fighters out to look for a signal. Yes.
Would it make sense to make, since it does sound like it would be a longer journey, to have kind of maybe I don't know if we have a drop ship or some sort of like, because that sounds like the only thing that would be able to ferry and kind of be a home base for some of the fighters that are going to be going out and doing scouting.
Okay. Yeah, here's what I'm envisioning basically is like we have to burn for 4 days to get to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm basically envisioning is like as we like go towards the planet, the fighters are effectively like using us as the main base and just like extending our range of what we're able to see as we make that travel. You see what I'm saying? Like they're taking like day trips out and back to just give us a larger field of vision.
And
does that make sense, AP? I don't know if I'm
Yes.
thinking about this the right way.
Yes, that's fine. And just to be clear, you don't have to make a specific plan for this. You can just tell the air boss, send the fighters out, bring me more sensor information, and they'll do it because they know better than you do what specifically needs.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
There is one concern. So normally Battlemechs and aerospace fighters that are powered by fusion engines do so with little to no regard for fuel costs, right? It's fairly easy on a populated world to get hydrogen. That is not true in your case. Sending these fighters out is going to deplete your stockpile of hydrogen currently. You will need to find a source of it later. And the thing is, if you only send a few out, right, it's much less, but you'll get a lot less data in the process. So it's a question of how, and to be clear, this is only a fraction of what you have available. Like, if you send these out right now, if you send everybody out right now, I'm not going to be like, all right, well, some guy just flies in a random direction and dies because he can't come back. You can easily do this operation. It's just you're depleting your stockpiles. It's a question of cost. How much do you want to commit to this?
Can we replenish on the planet that we're heading towards?
That is an excellent question, and I will answer it only because there was a successful science roll last time.
I scienced the shit out of it.
There is
I have a shirt like that.
a hydrogen processing center in the city of High Sierra. There's also another one at a different city somewhere else on the planet.
Sounds like a mission for our pirates.
Yeah, I don't listen. You
Look,
can't
I'm just trying to make them busy, okay? I'm trying to make them busy.
You can't just like walk into the facility in spy gear like Metal Gear Solid and like put an O2 canister and fill it with hydrogen. You need huge fuel containers full of highly pressurized gas.
I was more.
Can't we like skim the sun or something like that? Isn't that a thing in Battletech?
You can. And you could also do it in a hydrogen giant, which, you know, a gas giant, which don't, like, there isn't one in this system. You could skim the sun. That takes time and resources as well. It's all a question of what you're willing to commit. It's also, you know, dangerous, right? You're going to burn radiation shielding.
The whole point of being here is to find this fucking signal. So I say that we don't worry too much about
the resources.
spending the resources right now because we need to find the signal somehow.
this is our first lead. If we don't expend our resources here, where are we going to spend it? So I think
That's
is the
kind
first
of what
time.
I'm thinking too.
Yeah. All right. I think we're on the same page.
Okay.
So
Eric, does that work for you?
Oh, for sure, man.
Okie dokie. I think that's our plan then, AP.
Okay.
So we're going to send out a mission to scout and gather more information around the signals.
My understanding was you were also sending somebody to the planet on your way. Okay. No, you're just
we're
scouting
heading
for signals.
towards the planet, but we're scouting for signals.
I'm getting a yes and a no at the same time.
What?
Sam gave me a no on heading towards the planet. You gave me a yes.
We are not sending someone to the planet. We are going to the planet.
Okay. You're taking a dropship to the planet.
No,
Yes.
We're in 4
I
days.
don't know
we're
what any of the ships are called.
No.
we're not landing on the planet. We're like going to go into orbit around it or
Yes.
whatever.
That was my understanding.
That's not going to the. Okay, so
right.
going to the planet. It's really confusing because that
All
can
right,
mean
but
landing on
Let me
it.
be more clear. You are entering orbit over the planet.
Yes.
Your group. Okay. After
You know
several
that thing-
hours, you all transfer to a single dropship. I think for convenience's sake, it should be the Confederate because I suspect you're probably going to want to use your mechs or at the very least intimidate. I heard your pregame talk, which was like, we should kill people so that they'll feel indebted to us.
No, we should help them so they feel indebted, not kill them.
Okay. Sorry, I was doing
Jesus.
notes on something else. All I heard was,
Kill
killing
them. Yeah.
I mean, we should definitely at the very least have the mechs because that way we have them. And then you have them.
So your Union CV, which is a dropship specifically meant to perform aerospace operations, begins spilling fighters out in random directions so that you can start making a sphere around the sun and gather data. But while you get interesting data from everything here in the Sapphire system, nothing seems to be a mysterious signal of origin. On your trip on the Confederate towards the planet, there is probably the most significant event is that the Duchess and Sir Badger appear to be glued at the hip. She's basically getting him to explain everything that's happening. Like, explain to me what's happening with the jump ships. What's happening with the aerospace fighters? What's happening on this planet? What is this gray blight? She's constantly demanding attention from him, and he's basically running interference for everyone in all of existence.
So he's basically the child care at this moment.
I mean, listen, she's 15 years old, noble. I don't know that she needs a babysitter, right? But
what? He's basically just like
as
fronting,
the lowest and noble that's actually on this ship.
Yeah.
She just needs friends. Which she doesn't
she needs
have
to be
any.
socialized. Yeah.
On the other hand, Victoria is basically nowhere to be seen.
Who's Victoria again?
Getsuga. She's a knight that you almost didn't,
right.
maybe perhaps not knight or
Right.
did. I don't really know at this point.
I think that's the kind of the point is that
Yeah.
it's a little unclear.
Yeah. We promised to knight her, but there's always the possibility that it won't happen.
Well, don't tell her that.
It's basically.
I know this is meta.
Look, don't you worry.
Sorry, I said
AP.
Victoria. Her name is Marianne. Marianne Getsuga.
If
That's
we
fine.
if we don't knight her, she won't be coming back from the trip. Don't worry.
Oh my god.
She's been preparing the mech that she will be piloting. Which mech did she end up with? Somebody gave her a medium, right?
Somebody medium, yeah, to pilot, right?
Yeah, I think it was you.
Was it a
Me?
hunchback?
Yeah,
Was it the
it was
swayback?
It was the hunchback or the swayback, something like that.
When in doubt, it's a swayback is a form of hunchback, so it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the hunchback that is all lasers rather than
A
guns.
laserback, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Was it that one?
I thought a swayback was the 4H model,
I offered to
No,
bring the other
4P.
grasshopper,
the
but
AC-10.
but she
No.
likes
You know
smaller
what,
mechs.
All right,
I
it doesn't
swear
matter.
It was you who gave her something.
Yeah, I mean, I have extra mechs, but she didn't. There was a desire to pilot something smaller than
Are you
a
sure she
heavy.
didn't want like?
She wanted a lighter medium.
Yeah,
I mean, she'll take whatever you give her.
Isn't the hammer hands? Wasn't that on the table?
Sure. If you want to give her the hammer hand, she will take it.
Is that a
Again.
medium? What is that?
No, it's a heavy.
yeah.
Again,
she
she'll
can take
take
this
it.
way back then, because I think that's the only like medium that we have then.
Yeah.
She briefly placed her personal mark of knightage upon it underneath the cockpit, which was a like a claymore slicing a moon in half. And that's it. She spends most of her time in her quarters or in a gym, and is otherwise, I wouldn't say antisocial, non-social, non-present.
Okay.
As the planet has rotated, you receive several more messages from both the speaker 4 and the actual second protector Jameson, requesting an update on your status, what you're doing in this system. Have you come here to trade? They have a number prepared.
Yep. A number prepared, like a number of trades.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Do you want? Do you want more clarification on that statement?
Yeah. So, like, do they have a number prepared of like things that they want to trade or things that they need?
All right. So again, this conversation takes place asynchronously, right? You send messages, and it takes a few minutes for it to travel in each direction. Someone who you haven't heard before says, "Hello. This is the assistant speaker for Second Protector Jameson. I understand that you wished for clarification on the number. This is your first time visiting the system of Sapphire, correct?"
Yes.
What? Is that guy like a seneschal of the like Adeptus Ministorum? Like that's awesome. Sounds like a Meister Purcell looking guy. Sorry. Anyways,
I feel like the fact that this is the first time would be, well, no, I guess it wouldn't be totally obvious. Anyway, continue.
It's less obvious than you'd think for reasons that will become clear later.
Got it.
I see. Well, it must be poor fortune for the pirates then.
What does that mean? More fortune. Oh, I see. Because okay, never mind.
You think you know?
I think so.
I mean, you want to ask him for clarification on what that means?
No.
I'm guessing he thinks we're here hunting pirates, but I don't know that that's the case. So if you want to ask him, we can.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking too. And then we're just going to send the pirates in. No, just kidding.
Well, the normal process around here is, we have some goods, but normally the people who pass through this system don't particularly want what we have. Apparently, you don't value diesel. What fools you are. The most valuable commodity in the whole world. We have prepared gold and silver and of course the children.
Okay. I think there's again, because this is asynchronous, we have the benefit of being able to talk for about 10 minutes between conversation. Yep. Does he, and so in the command center, is he offering us children as a resource?
It would appear so.
Oh dear.
What do you expect from such a backwater? We'll have to see if we can find this signal and get out of here as fast as we can. Perhaps we should ask them if they know, if they recognize anything like what we're looking for.
Yes. Although with any negotiation, it's good to ask for something maybe aligned, but not precisely. We don't want to play our hands too straight yet.
They're the one running things.
So Anko will reply saying, "Yes, the pirates. We are hunting some, and we're looking in particular for a communications that we picked up recently. You don't happen to have records? Do we happen to know the age of the previous signal?"
No, but after several minutes, you get a communications reply back. Oh, yes, well, no one's visited us for almost a decade with the exception of the blip. We have extensive records going back hundreds of years about it. Now, if you want more information, I'm sure that the 13 can open negotiations in that regard. As I said, we have children.
Oh man. So again, in that 10-minute period, all right. So they have records potentially of what we're looking for. The 13 sounds like potentially 13 cities or provinces or some sort of structure of the planet.
Or it's just a different faction.
It's very true.
If only you had a Mass Effect wiki to explain to you the Batarian government.
Some research for later. Yeah, it's been a while since I played Mass Effect.
Well, that's because it's been out for like 15 years, but okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I actually never played 3 or the Andromeda one, so worth it, maybe not.
You're missing it out with 3.
Okay.
Andromeda coin flip.
Yeah. How do we want to approach this? Do we want to engage them in trade? Or
We don't really have anything to trade with them.
Am I allowed in the scene, or is this between nobles?
I think because you're the commander of our primary forces.
Hey, whoa, you were recognized by Lachlan McDougal as having a legitimate claim. Right?
Yeah,
That's true.
noble.
That was my recollection.
I do remember that
Right,
too.
but
This
yeah,
man
it's-
comes in this room. I call him Yusuf of the Azami, and now he's calling himself Yusuf Wheat now that he's got control of the character, but he won't say he's a noble.
I know it's yeah. I think it's all the past times that Eric has told him, no, you are not my family.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's gotten deep into Eric's head. Yes, I think you would be invited as someone to be an advisor in core part of this mission. I think all the knights. Does that make sense to you, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if I have permission to speak my side of things,
Please.
perhaps we should show them something worth fighting for. Show them the value of the light of Davian. I'm sure these folks here fight valiantly without, but we can show them arms, show them leadership on the battlefield.
Are you suggesting we may propose if they have something they want to recover in the Grey Blight, as we've called it, and help them recover it?
Precisely. We may not have goods to offer. And I look outside the window. We have services. Intelligence reports that they're fighting with glorified agrimechs, if I could say. True relics.
Quaint, to say the least. I remember Bassett employing several of those at one point.
No doubt, based on the communiques, they're probably running off primitive internal combustion engines at this point rather than fusion. Real bucket of bolts. But it's never, and I'm very serious at this part when I look at you. it's never the mech, it's the pilots.
It's true. A good pilot can make any mech far more formidable than an average one would.
If I had to spend my entire life fighting for survival, day in, day out against such a terrible fungus, perhaps they've gotten pretty good at shooting. Maybe there's more to this planet than meets the eye. Should cultivate fungal power. I'm just kidding. I don't say that.
This fungus could be a source of energy, renewable forever.
I mean, basically, are these dudes actually like the Battletech equivalent of the Fremen because they fight fungus all the time? I don't know. We'll see.
Oh my god!
I doubt it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that works for me. We can see what they want.
It's a very verbose way of saying, like, hey, well, we could also offer military service. We have nothing.
I think Lachlan will just say, just don't commit to too much, and that seems adequate to me.
I think, I think there's Anko would come back and say, well, this is an opportunity for us to replenish our hydrogen supplies, as they do have refineries on planet. So perhaps for services for a few days of refined hydrogen and the information we are looking for, perhaps other things they might have, we'll offer those few days of services.
No. I know I haven't been a noble for long, but we do have a service to take care of these people regardless, right?
They're on the periphery. Are technically part of the Davian.
Nope.
Right. Yeah. Oh, for the record, I know
one's
this.
Been to the, they've just told you no one's been here for at least 10 years.
Look, and for the record, I know this, and so does Yusuf. But I want you guys to expressly say that these people aren't worth saving.
Oh.
Lachlan will just say,
baiting you guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Lachlan
for sure.
will just say, these aren't our people.
But they are people.
But they're not my people. If and when the time comes, perhaps it could be good for us to take this land for the Davians, but it would be to take the land for the Davians. If these people want to submit, perhaps they can become ours. But until that time...
Would you not agree that there's more than... Perhaps we should speak privately on the matter. I'll be quiet. Basically, I don't want... What I'm doing in this moment is saying, you're wrong. I want to tell you why you're wrong, but I won't do that in front of company because that makes you look bad. So I'm going to say, instead I say, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Lachlan will just...
But I'm doing that.
Yeah. He'll accept that for now.
Therefore, it sounds like we are in an accord. We orbit the planet for a few days, and gather resources, and offer them services. I will communicate as such.
And I will also communicate to my mercenary pilots saying, stand down, we're not doing anything. Because they're getting antsy as hell, I'm sure.
Oh,
come on, dude. Like, we're getting paid to do nothing but sit on a fucking carrier. Like, let's be real. Sorry if I just demonetized you.
No, you didn't. I'm good.
Right.
This
so
is
I'm
my
telling them
most
to
viewed
stand
show,
down.
though, so let's be careful.
As Lachlan would say, you're one of my people, and I care deeply about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah. Use it. Yusuf has a patron. He has a soft spot for lost causes, man. He's having a hard time with this because, like, it's so stupid. It's a bad idea. He shouldn't do it. But, like, there's something about the long odds, something about wanting to help these people.
I mean, it's like it's the same scenario on the asteroid with LeBeau's like old like brother or whatever.
Maybe. Oh man,
where we literally just abandoned those people there on the asteroid with nothing.
Honestly, yeah, and honestly,
it's very much that.
God, I wish. Is it okay? All right, would it be okay about this scene if Yusuf actually does contradict you in public here about that being like after the asteroid, or something like that, and go down that road a little bit
well,
and
Lachlan
reprimand him?
There.
That was
Wasn't
me.
here
That
for
was the Anko.
asteroid.
So that was all Anko.
Oh, that's right. You weren't there.
And Anko
Yeah.
was torn about it, but then like
Yeah.
said something that Yusef was like, okay.
I'm pretty sure Badger was the one that convinced you that these people were filthy pirates who should all pay for their crimes.
Yeah,
It's true.
And honestly, it's as weird enough as it is. I'm kind of describing that. I think rather than turning jaded as a mercenary person and seeing the worst of it all, he's the opposite. He's grown a heart. As a noble, he's callous as fuck. But when he is hungry and seen like eating with the regular people, he's sympathetic.
It's totally reasonable for Yusuf to make a scene here. I just want to be clear that if he is, like, don't forget that Lachlan was not there for the asteroid thing.
Right. Sir, I fought with Davians before. I've fought with the Combine. I fought with many services, planetary governments. There's more that binds people together than separates them. And these people fight valiantly for their homes. And did we not also fight for our own homes? Is there not something in our hearts that means that I feel compelled to help these people? Feels callous to not. Forgive me for saying it.
I feel like there's a moment pause where Anko doesn't say anything, and then she says, "You're not wrong, but we also are on a long journey at the first step of a mission that we ourselves have. Sometimes we're going to have to make the hard choice of helping someone or not. With respect to the people that we have on board, the responsibility that we have to the people on this mission with us."
And back on Whittington.
Yes. It is the challenge of leadership and nobility.
Everyone has their own battles to fight.
But perhaps by trade, we can support these people in some small way. Yeah.
And as I said, perhaps in the future, they will join the Commonwealth. And at that point,
We're on the precipice of oblivion. What kind of future is that? When?
This could be the first step towards something brighter. Who knows?
I would sooner see the resuscitation of the Star League than this fall in the fold of the.
Sir Wheat, your contention has been noted.
Thank you. I love how callous you are, dude. I love it. It's so good. Like I'm talking to you, and then in a very stern face, is like, your attention has been noted. Like, like you got fucking Tywin Lannister energy, and I love it. I don't know why I'm in the Game of Thrones space, but I am. I love it.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean?
Thank you, Eric. That is exactly what I'm going for.
I love
Just
it.
absolutely ruthless.
Like cutting up a deer while you say it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, that's funny. Very well then. I will communicate our intent and see what they require of us. Would it make sense based upon the communications that we've had to request negotiations with the 13, since they're the one that have the most information about the blip?
They provide you with a priority dropship landing sequence. Whenever you're ready, they'll be ready to receive you. You have top priority here.
I see. I'm going to put this on you all as well. Does it make sense for us to land with the Union with mechs ready so we can basically be like...
The Union, you aren't on the Union, and the Union doesn't carry mechs. You're on the Confederate because that's where your mechs are.
That's what I meant. The Union is the aerospace fighter. We'll eventually get all these ships in line. My bad.
You never will, and I'll be here to help you out with it.
Thank you. Oh, Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So does it make sense to y'all to just drop in on the Confederate and then be like, as you can see, we have quite the capability to support you while we're here.
Let me describe your landing after you send that smartass message.
Oh, well, that wasn't the message I sent, but that was the vibe that I'm going for once we finally do negotiations.
So as you're landing, it's something like it's like an oil rig turned into a city, essentially. Surrounded by the gray blight in every direction.
Yeah.
It has, I wouldn't say massive walls, but the walls are made up of whatever scrap material couldn't otherwise be used for something else. There are pipes and rigs, refineries and crackers. There's a hydrogen mining area next to the diesel refinery and some factories. There's clearly an airfield that seems to be very well used next to the drop port, which is covered in, like, as the Confederate comes down, you basically scour the area. It's actually unsafe to land here because no one has cleaned or prepared it for use in about 10 years, right? So, like, ground personnel are being blasted with, like, sand and dust and like leftover blight that has settled into the area. Thousands of people have stopped what they're doing. Men who are at the top of pipes. It's like the situation from the picture of the skyscraper workers who are having lunch out on the steel beam. People just stop what they're doing and watch you land. And it is clear that they are all malnutritious. They're all shorter than human average. They're slightly bloated, almost skeletal in some cases. Children as young as 13 are being put to work in the factories here. There don't appear to be any buildings from orbit that would appear to be things like parks or schools or hospitals. There's a kind of pseudo militancy to it. As you're landing, you could almost see that it was once a military base, perhaps, from above. Clear lines of you know, fire and movement that have been filled in by scrap, by dystopian diesel punk Attack on Titan. Maybe. There are 12 flags at the drop port. They are numbered 1 through 12, but 7 is missing. And the 12th flag is 3 eggs.
Wait, say the last part again.
Okay, so there are 12 flags. They are numbered 1 through 12. The number 7 is missing.
Okay. Oh.
And then there is a flag with 3 eggs.
A flag with 3 eggs.
Can I offer you an egg in this trying time?
So
I would be
crews,
ecstatic for your egg.
Ground crews approach you, but they don't like connect fuel lines and hydrogen pumps or anything like that. They're just making sure that you're capable of bringing down your dropship ramps and to meet anyone. You know, like they're not going to top up the ship for free yet. They're waiting for negotiations. The person who comes to meet you, I want you to imagine you're meeting Johnny Silverhand in Cyberpunk 2077, but like a Johnny Silverhand who's like 6 inches shorter with greasy hair that some of it is falling out in the process, hasn't shaved in maybe 7 or 8 days. His cybernetic arm isn't cool silvery. It's more like, it looks like this arm probably also belonged to his grandfather.
So it's like blackish, maybe with a little bit of scuffing.
It's like someone has buffed the rust out and then replaced the plating where the rust was several times. It's a ship of Theseus Cyberon. But he approaches with a cigar, and as you come down the ramp, he offers it to whoever seems like they're most in charge.
The hand.
No, the cigar.
I feel like. Do you want me to lead the negotiations, or do you want to do it?
You can.
Okay. I know I've been communicating, so I've been kind of leading that, so wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess Anko is probably in the lead.
I'm Second Protector Jamison. I welcome you to Sapphire 3.
Well met, Protector Jameson, Second Protector Jameson. No, thank you. Gesturing to the
like when you don't accept the cigar, he turns to like look at the spaceport workers, and they stop what they're doing in amazement. They're like, "Oh, what?"
Very rude. How rude of you.
Apologies. I have a condition.
No. I understand. You must be so wealthy to turn away our gifts. It is a true honor to meet someone like you. Do you mind if I... He gestures too. All right.
Yeah, please.
Oh, it's been 6 months since I had one. What was your name again?
My name is Anko Khan.
What clan do you represent?
Depends on what clans you're familiar with. Tell us more.
Well, I gotta say, I'm impressed that someone could kill the Pirate Brothers. There's not many in these parts who would have run up against the LeBeaus.
So my name precedes me then.
I mean,
Incredible.
no, but the last time we seen that jump ship you got out there, it belonged to a pirate. Brothers. Pirate Brothers.
Well.
And I'm guessing if you own it and you claim to be a pirate hunter, you have killed him and taken his ship. Am I missing a part of the story here? He says as he takes
another puff. Yeah. No, you were quite right.
I'm sorry. Perhaps you could introduce me to your compatriotes.
Yes. This here is Lachlan McDougal. I'm saying Count.
Yeah, Lachlan's dressed like a full-on Bond villain. I feel like he's got like his like fancy like suit and like gloves, like white gloves or whatever.
Black suit with white gloves.
Yeah, he's got like the cane. We talked about how he's like started affecting a cane. So he's got that.
Do you have like
not a black suit? It's probably like some kind of like black paisley or something. He's very over the top with his outfit.
It's true.
So it's probably like black with gold paisley. Just absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, I feel like Anko would be wearing something moderate for her, which is just like a very clean power suit. Probably in the Khan colors, so it's black and white. So in some ways, there's like a correlation between Lachlan and Anko, but you just have a pattern.
Okay.
It is a pleasure to make an acquaintance. We, as I said, are... Is
this your bodyguard, head of security?
No. This is one of the leaders of our expedition.
Gesture into Yusuf.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was trying to be
sorry. This is yes, our head of security and other special missions if we need them.
Now, as this conversation has gone on, two things are happening. One, your nice black suits are both starting to get specked with gray dandruff. Number two is that this planet stinks. It's actually gaggingly horrendous. You are next to a active diesel refinery and mine oil rig set. But on top of that, the blight, they must be burning it or something. It is bad. It's really bad.
Let's see. I kind of glance over to Lachlan as like should we move this to a different location or continue the conversation here?
He's letting you take the lead.
Fair enough. Then let us not waste too much time. I don't want to. Obviously, you have lots to do here as well. We come here with a need for information, and we're willing to trade our services. We have much skill amongst our crew and peoples to aid you should you have perhaps an objective in the blight or some sort of need outside of the cities to look for something.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. I would love to get first negotiation with you and get as many children off planet as possible. But I have to give everybody at the Council of 13 a fair crack. All right. Can we save this until we get to the council room?
Of course. It's a Council of 13 with 12 flags?
Yep.
Okay.
-7.
Oh my god. Okay. Is there one that shouldn't be named?
No.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I thought I was gone to something.
Are you looking at the flags? Like, are you making a big deal of looking at the flags and trying to figure it out? Okay.
I think Yusef.
I glanced at the flags. I'm not going to sit there talking to a dude and stare off studying flags. I feel like that's probably the rudest thing you could do to having a conversation with somebody. But like,
well, I'm technically having leading the conversation. So if you want to be doing something that makes sense for a security officer to be like looking around and inspecting the space, that makes sense.
Actually, yeah. You know what? You won me over to it. That makes sense.
So as you're watching, the 7th flag is going up, but Jameson turns and says, "You're probably wondering why there's no number 13, huh?" And as you're watching, like a plane, like a so janky. You guys probably wouldn't have ever seen. Well, you did business. You did business in the Draconis Combine. By business, I mean you rated it consistently. This is a draconian plane design from a long time ago. That uses wing and ground effect in order to have the plane fly with as little force as possible. But it's basically the worst possible transportation you could ever fly in the air. You know how when you're landing, the what's it called when you get bounced around in a plane?
Turbulence.
Yeah. You know how when you're landing, the turbulence gets horrendous? That's because the force of the plane's passage is bouncing off of the ground and hitting the plane in the process. Wing and ground effect planes fly by getting fast enough until that turbulence helps lift them in the air. So they're basically suffering turbulence the entire flight path. Such a plane is currently landing at the airport as the 7th flag is going up. Jameson gestures to it and says, we lost the Hartleys about 6 months ago. I gotta say, I've rarely seen such a heroic death. Quite a sacrifice. Blowing his engine. He hit field 3. He like gestures out into the distance. The gray blight beyond that wall seems to be a little newer. It's a different color than the rest.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a fresher thing rather than the scabby stuff that's in the distance. Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Life is lost. Miss Khan, life is lost.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So there's no golf carts. There's no transport vehicles here. You have to walk to your location. There's not even jeeps. You
Is it
do
like-
briefly
Is it like
see.
platforms
Sorry,
with
what?
walls? It's like platforms with walls. You said it was like almost
You
oil.
so
oil
this is
rig.
the highest point of the city of High
Right.
Sierra. Because it's a, it's a spaceport airport. It's built higher than the rest of the facility, and then you basically tier down like Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings.
Got it. Okay.
Of like walls and additional building until you get to the incredibly crappy new outside. The cargo plane lets off a very old agramech. It's like a cattle master. It's got the blade, but the blade appears to have flamethrowers on both sides of the blade, and it's carrying a custom made shotgun with like a drum magazine under it. And like it hefts the drum magazine really slowly and creakily, and you hear its ice engine, its internal combustion engine kick up. Coal rolls out the back, a big burst of smoke, and people nearby give off a cheer like, "Yeah, 7!"
God.
I think I figured it out. Each flag represents one of the mechs they have. One of the mech pilots.
So, about 20 minutes later, in the sweltering, dry, incredibly dry heat, the stink of chemicals rolling off of you. At this point, your black suits are basically gray.
Mm-hmm.
You have to brush your face off occasionally, and it's like you were working with charcoal.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if Anko would do something to like cover her mouth or nose or something like that.
The people here on this planet don't seem to bother.
Yeah, I know, but that often happens when you live in that space for a long time. Doesn't matter. Still affects your health.
Yeah. Oh, it's uncomfortable for sure.
I feel like they have more pressing concerns based on the yellowish scurvy-like demeanors.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, there's definitely scurvy here for sure, along with at least 3 other malnutrition diseases.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As you're entering the building, it appears to be a paper-based command center. And by that, I mean there are maps and charts of what appear to be different cities, timetables, and lists of goods and numbers next to them, and then a second set of numbers. And somebody's just like, all right, I got a hold of Madre. They're looking for diesel at 20, 12 units. And everybody's like, phew. Okay, tell them bananas 60 at 5. And everybody's like watching that guy, and he gets on the radio and talks to them. He's like, we got a deal. And everybody's like, oh, thank God. Bananas. And Jameson's just like, well, sounds like things have gone well for us today. Must be a blessing to have you folks with us.
They say bananas instead of God.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, where does
because I was immediately thinking that they have like a beautiful mural of like the Chiquitas woman.
No.
My understanding was that
I was ready for it.
literally buying bananas.
They're literally buying bananas.
Okay.
They're trading diesel for bananas.
Gotcha. Sorry,
Oh, wow.
I thought that was an adulation and extolling.
No, they're buying bananas. They're literally
Gotcha.
purchasing.
Gotcha.
They're trading the thing that they have here for something somebody else makes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but you can't eat diesel.
Yeah, that's
You
Explain that to Halliburton.
you can't eat diesel, AP. Don't assume.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you can. But you can maybe. Nah, they probably do not have the petrochemical chemistry degrees in order to create fertilizer.
They don't have schools.
The ammonia out of
They
this.
don't
Yeah.
have
Okay.
schools, yeah.
They don't
Yeah, they don't have schools.
They don't have higher learning.
They don't even have a school. Yeah.
Oh man.
So as Jameson enters, it seems like all 13 members of the 13 are here. There is all of them appear to be wearing something like pseudo military garb. They look like they just showed up at a militia convention, and rather than get any uniformity among them, they chose their favorite paramilitary organization, essentially. Some of them have bandoliers. Others are just openly wearing firearms. Some of them have berets. There is a man who's wearing a lab coat that has a patch with 3 eggs on it in the corner. Everyone else seems to regard him as if he's a dangerous entity.
He is the Eggman.
Wasn't that what Jasper's like?
So Jameson nods to the Eggman as he enters, since that's what you're going to term him as. And he moves for everyone to sit down at a crescent-shaped table. They're going to be on the outside of the crescent, and you guys are on the inside. There is no seat for the Eggman, who is left to stand in a corner and watch.
The intimidating Eggman. Yeah, I think as soon as like people settle in, do we have a name for our expedition?
No, but Jameson will actually cut in first, and he'll just say, now look, you don't need to know our names. You're not going to be here 2-3 days. You don't care. And we know it. You know it. We're here to make bids. All right. You say you have services and you want information, and that's great. We would love to sell you information. What we ask in return in payment is that you take kids off world. And like each of them has like a auction paddle before them that appears to be the number of children that they're willing to part with.
Ooh. Wow.
Oh man.
Because they want them to have a better life? Is that
Yes.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Like, are we recreating the what was the fancy?
I like how
adoption?
Eric's like, these guys are the Fremen. We're gonna get fungal power, and these guys are like, our society.
Please save us.
Yeah,
We're dead.
they're like, we can barely stay alive. Everyone's like, oh yeah, the Fremen are the best fighters in the world, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Where are they gonna get their macronutrients from? They live in the desert.
Well, they have cinnamon.
A fungal desert.
Oh
yeah.
my god, cinnamon. Yeah,
They got
that's it.
spicy cinnamon.
Yeah, cinnamon, as well known for its nutrient content.
Oh man. Yeah,
So
all you need is a
nutritious,
mouth.
AP.
All you need is a mouthful of cinnamon a day. You're good.
So Jameson
Don't do
appears
that.
to be the person in charge of the communications array, and he's ready for you to tell him what you want from it. The others are basically attempting to outbid each other, right? They want the children to have a better life, but in the process, they can't give away so many kids that the workforce collapses.
Yeah.
And everyone is like, oh, I'll give 15. And somebody else is like, oh yeah, I'll do 18. And as you and Jameson are like getting down to brass tacks and preparing to talk about it, the person sitting at the chair marked 11 writes down 57 on his card, and everybody in the room stops.
But how do we don't have enough
Yeah.
space for a bunch of fucking kids.
You actually
I mean,
do. You have
we
room for
do.
321 people on the Seeker?
Who's
That's
gonna
the
take
shit that I was
care of
trying
these
to.
children, AP?
That's not my problem. That's your problem.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, it's not. That's my point. It's not my problem.
But that's not how they see things. They
Yeah.
think you want these kids.
Why would I want these kids?
Because the pirates who came here 10 years ago and before that have always taken the kids.
Lachlan is gonna. At this point, Lachlan is gonna look at fucking Anko and be like, Anko,
No.
what are we doing? We can't take care of 50 fucking kids.
Yes, I know.
Anka, we have to absolutely take care of these 50 kids. Sorry. just like just for imposing viewpoints. I'm
Other
not
side of
joking.
the table is having
Literally,
the same
you're-
discussion, but it's like, what are you doing giving away 57 kids? That's like everyone. You only have 59.
I think like before the bidding gets too crazy, there's a pause where Anko like looks at looks at Yusef and looks at Lachlan, and I want to be clear. We are on a long mission away from any inhabited star system, potentially. So the kids that you're offering us may not have a better life if that is your intention.
All right.
They would definitely have a better life, though.
I don't know how to describe to you what it's like when 12 people all have all hope drained from their eyes. When you basically announce that the children have no value to you, not only do they have nothing to offer you, but they know that these children are not, they're stuck on this planet. The man in the corner with the egg emblem just leaves the room at that point, disgusted and furious. Like, he throws a manila folder on the floor and leaves. And Jameson stands and says, "You are not given leave to exit this room, egghead." And the man says, "The egghead clan will not stand for this."
What
He's got egg on his face now.
I want to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm willing to defy Lachlan over this. I want to, and I am very sorry about this analogy, but I'm failing to come up with a better one. I want to Schindler's List, like, hire these kids as soldiers as a way to protect them and get them off this world.
Okay.
Oh, do you want to basically just like make them mini mercenaries
They're
and
employees? Yeah, they're contractors to me.
Okay.
And by that, we're not saving them. I am hiring them as contractors. I am saving them. You know,
Right,
I'm not actually having child soldiers, just so everyone calms down in the comments. I am doing it as a legal preface to get them on the ship, if that's possible.
I think that's a great way of countering. Yeah.
Yusuf, if you're doing this, you have all of the power at the table right now.
I don't know if I don't know if that's like, we have the space on the ship. It's not going to be blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I can afford it, I'm sure. But like, can I?
The person
like,
you'll be paying is Anko Khan.
It's a kid, Michael. What does it cost? $10? You know, like, it's fine.
It's I mean, they're going to be a drain on fleet resources. You know. So
yeah. Well, that settles it then. And I would say in the meeting, as you're saying, that settles it then. I'll hire them.
And I think Anko like turns to Yusef and I think there's like a moment of very subtle grin of as if Anko was trying to create this emotional reaction, and then having Yusef kind of shine in this moment too, because there was that contesting viewpoint. Oh, very well then. In that case, we can take care of some of the children with us, or take some of the children with us.
Not some, all. All who are willing. I offer my banner and my protection. I'll have contracts being written up at this moment.
All right.
I offer fair pay, fair service.
Jameson says, "Okay, look, let's take a moment to calm down. There's a lot of emotion here. Let's not commit to anything or say anything. No. It's clear that there's a communications breakdown here. Let's take 5. We'll get an ice cream break."
They've got ice cream, but they don't got food.
So this is, can I explain Yusuf's stuff for a second?
Sure.
I open my brain to you. The Azumi were saved. I was saved by my dad, right? In a way, by Yusuf's dad. I'm not married to these people, but like, this is my dad's legacy is to protect these people. I'm living proof of this. I can't not act.
Makes sense.
I would never explain that in character to you all, right?
Right.
Like that, just so you all know that's what's going on, that's why I'm willing to fight so hard for this.
I think it's like a deep motivation that hasn't really surfaced to everyone else. Yeah, that makes sense.
So Jameson appears to be rallying a group against 3, a woman named Carlita. who is opposed to this blanket deal. She's worried that you may not, in fact, be pirate hunters. You may, in fact, be predators promising something you can't deliver.
I mean, I think just to make sure it's clear, like the communications that we had prior to this was like, here's what we're looking for.
Yes.
Right. So
Jameson is trying to get every group to back off and take a breath. They bring out very watery ice cream. And as they
Delicious.
do, everyone offers a prayer. They say, hydration does not come from pure water. Pure water does not provide. And then they all... It's basically more like a it's not even that sugary. It's just kind of like an icy soup, essentially.
Gross.
But they all say the same line before starting. Then they offer some to each of you. They actually offer each of you a bowl that's about 50% bigger than theirs.
I feel like with what happened prior to the cigar,
will eat this whatever it is.
soup. Yeah.
It's like if you took water ice or Rita's Italian ice, essentially, removed the sugar, and then dumped it into half of its size in water.
Yeah, I get it, AP. It's awful.
But they, they're surprised when you don't say the chant of hydration.
Oh,
but they don't do it.
I think that's the thing is like we're trying after the folly of previously. I think Anko's kind of leading in or setting the example of when in Rome, do as they do to
the man at the 11th seat leans across the table briefly after breaking away from the conversation and says, look, maybe you all don't know because you don't have good enough, eggheads where you come from, but hydration does not come from pure water. Everybody drinking pure water, they're doing it wrong. The only way to get hydration is through what you eat. You have to get it through food source. That's why pure water is bad. You got to get it from ice cream.
Sure.
Well, thank you for enlightening us.
I understand. People from afar got funny notions.
What does this gentleman look like? This is a seat 11, right?
Yeah, seat 11. So this is a guy who offered 57.
Yeah.
It's got the widow's peak. His hair probably was black at one point before it went gray. It seems like he had a beard, and then most of the hair fell out in patches. It also seems like he probably had chest hair and arm hair at one point, but it too has fallen out in patches. His skin has taken on less of a healthy pink and more of like a slightly mottled gray. And he's missing several teeth. But he conducts himself with a dignity that many here don't appear to have.
This is literally a 40K world. This is incredible. God.
I mean, I guess that's true. Like even, because 40K kind of has this diesel vibe.
I conduct myself with the most civilist affairs. Like I don't show any disrespect or demeanor, diminishing these people's lives in any way. I'm not beneath any of these people. There's a streak of humility to me.
Lachlan definitely does. He looks down on these people entirely and finds this whole thing to be just an exercise in trying his patience.
After a few minutes of everyone calming down, the man with the egg mark on his lab coat bursts back into the room and says, they have super marauders. And everybody goes, oh shit. And then he goes, And they have flying marauders. We got it on long range radar. And everybody's like, oh, this could be the big one. This could be it.
Is this our Comstar representative? That's like this old dude.
The egghead.
Yeah.
So as he re-enters, though, right, he delivers this message, and then Jameson squares up in front of him and goes, you can't just walk back in here, egghead. When you leave this room, you are gone for the discussion. That's the rules. And the gentleman is just like, well, I'm going to do what it takes in order for all of us to survive here. You've spent too much time not listening to me and just moaning your fate, okay? I'm the only one who actually knows what's going on around here, all right? You people are just following procedures like they're scripture. Why aren't you interested in what's happening out there with us? Jameson's just like, you don't belong here, hey kid. You relinquish your right. Now you're gonna leave this room, or am I gonna have to make you leave? Don't embarrass us in front of our guests.
I feel like
I wanna assuage this by Egghead, and I feel like the way to assuage this is that Egghead has to leave, but I might leave with him in a way that's dignifying to it.
Okay.
And I'll take that bullet.
and I think there's like,
I mean,
well, so here I'm with you there on like somehow gaining confidence with the egghead, because I feel like we have information they may not have, and the egghead is the one. Knowledge is power, right? Even though they don't necessarily see it in this room. So I kind of see us like potentially he would know where things are that are interesting and valuable. So I think there's like it's like, it is quite all right. Yusef, if you could please escort the egghead, perhaps discuss our super marauders, as you said, outside of discussions and negotiations. And we'll continue discussing here.
Okay. Do we want to stay here, or do we want to follow the egghead?
I want to hear what the egghead has to offer with Yusef.
Well, I mean, you won't hear what the egghead has to
Right.
offer. Yusef will hear
Eddie,
what the
as a character or as a player, wants to hear that.
Yusef will though.
Oh.
I didn't say Jasper this time, and I really wanted to. All right, so Yusef, you travel with the egghead. You kind of help him disengage from Jameson, and in the process, he reaches out to give you an elbow bump.
I don't know what this means.
So
it's very awkward.
Yeah. I mean, he waggles his elbow in front of you. He's like, "You're not going to leave me hanging, are you?"
It's a custom. Yeah.
Okay, you elbow bump. He goes, I'm Emirate of the Egghead clan. Come with me. I have information you'll probably want.
Yeah. Oh. Your heart, and well, first, can I just say that you must be extremely generous, offering so many kids.
Oh, that was number 11.
Oh, it's not him?
Yeah, no. This is
Egghead.
This is
you said
Egghead.
11, not Egghead. Sorry, that's in my brain. Sorry.
No, it's
My
not
bad.
good.
I would not. Obviously, I don't say that.
Okay.
All right, I'm right. Yeah.
So as you walk with him, people are trying to get his attention, and he just waves them off. And somebody's just like, "The birthrights, sir, the birthrights," and he's like, "I know. We'll deal with it later."
Oh.
He takes you into his office, which, so far you've been on the top area, and there's been a really good view in every direction. Even the room you were just in had a good view of the Grey Blight in as many directions as possible. This room, it has no air conditioning, has no ventilation, and has no windows in it, and also appears to be half of a mop closet.
Oof.
With like blueprints and plans. There's a whiteboard with what appears to be very basic molecular biology diagrams on it. Another wall with ATGC combinations.
Yeah.
And then the floor also appears to be used as a desk itself, which is covered in like traveling salesman optimizations for transport of diesel to the various refineries, and then finally finishing it at a location that seems to be some sort of bunker, and the second location is the airport.
Quite the impressive operation here.
Yeah, thanks. He like grabs a bunch of books, like college textbooks, and puts them down so that you can sit across from him at his desk. He's using them as a seat.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Do they look like they've ever been opened?
Oh, they've definitely been opened. They got post-it notes everywhere on it.
Got it. Okay. Sure.
They're old too. They're very old. Like the pages are worn. The spine is like cracked and then duct taped over and over again.
Is McPherson or whatever still a college publishing company?
I don't know.
Okay, McPherson something. Okay, anyways.
So he sits across from you and says, "Tell me about the signal you're looking for."
You would have been debriefed, so you know.
Yeah, but like, was he aware that we're looking for a signal?
You mentioned that you were looking for a signal.
Oh wait, we did. Okay,
first things you said you wanted.
Right. Okay. Yes.
A blip is what they call it.
I appreciate that you're right to the point, but yes, we're curious about the blip.
It appears to be some sort of jump ship which arrives at semi-random intervals, broadcasts a signal, and then leaves after 7 days. All attempts to approach it in recorded history have failed. While we still had aerospace lift capacity, as it is an object freely floating in space, entering into any sort of orbit with it is
docking procedures.
Yeah,
I am aware.
Okay. It's nice to talk to somebody who has that sort of higher mathematics. We don't get a lot of that around here.
Believe me, you don't get a lot of that around the places I hang out either. This is just as much a relief.
All right, so the eggheads have been tracking this thing for generations. The signal is unchanged, but its arrival point is almost totally random, which I don't have to tell you as a student of the Karani Fachada drive, and he pronounces it totally wrong.
Yeah.
That should be impossible. The gravitational pockets necessary to arrive and leave the system shouldn't allow this. The ship should tear itself apart on arrival. I did my thesis on the blip, but that was a long time ago, and I didn't really have a conclusion afterwards. I just had more questions than answers.
It must be very hard for you.
He takes off his glasses. So Emirate Egghead, sandy brown hair. His eyes are too close together. It seems like definitely some sort of, genetics issue there. Narrow face. He looks worn, like someone who is stretched, doing too much all the time. Dark circles under the eyes.
Yeah.
For someone so gaunt, he's also particularly broad-shouldered.
Yeah. The last time I saw someone that chronically underslept and stressed and keeping everything together
during the last campaign.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was during the last campaign. So like I don't tell him about what's going on. I think that would be rude. So like it's being very sympathetic to him. But listen, if there's any other way we could possibly help you, their information that you just gave is incredibly generous.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. This planet is doomed. All right. Our cities are falling below the encyclopedic minimum level to sustain replacement with genetic diversity.
Yeah.
In 40 to 50 years, the population will collapse, assuming the blight doesn't get us first. These people believe that the oil that comes from the ground is infinite and will spring forever. And I've been trying to explain to them that it's almost gone here. And when that happens, High Sierra is done. And it's not just going to be High Sierra. Half the planet relies on our stores in order to commit to operations against the blight. All of the marauders are going to shut down. We don't have what it takes to evacuate people. We have maybe 5 years. I'll tell you what I think could make a difference. You have flying marauders. I've seen some Battlemechs. I'm guessing you have bombs, lasers, missiles, even just concrete bricks you can drop at the back. The footage has been impressive. I think that with some airstrikes and your super marauders, you could buy us some time, a few years, to make a difference.
How much of a difference will a few years make?
Okay, Eddie, a Betamax is the
giant pre-DVD giant thing.
Yeah, it was the competitor to VCR tapes.
Oh, sorry, I thought you weren't talking about. Oh, gotcha. Never mind. I knew what that made a Bex was, but in this context, I wasn't sure.
I was trying to explain how archaic the technology he's working with is.
No, I love it.
Got it.
Sorry, what was your question?
Sir, I don't feel like my brain is smart enough to understand what a few years means for these people. Is it just comfort, quality of life? He
personally is looking to evacuate as many people from High Sierra as possible before its inevitable fall. But I think, as you've already seen, he doesn't appear to have a lot of influence or sway.
Right. Man, what a messed up situation, dude. I don't know if you can. I don't know if are you sure people want to leave, even if they know the truth?
He stands up and sadly turns, and he looks at a wall, but he's not looking at the diagram of a granule of sugar.
Yeah,
he's looking out at High Sierra through the wall. Yeah. Even if he can't see it physically, he sees it in his heart, and he says, they don't want to leave. Even these children who you will be taking away to what I can only hope is a better life, they don't want to leave. They are preparing themselves to enter the workforce as diesel refiners, as pipe workers. Sometimes they just need their tiny hands to get in the cracks, turn some knobs and levers, hand them a spanner. There was a time when Sapphire was better than this, but most of the cities have redacted that information from the records, orders from High Command.
You will be saving these kids' lives. It's a burden or duty I would happily take, but they will resent you.
They already resent the eggheads. Everyone on Sapphire resents the eggheads. It's because we tell them that what they hear is not what is true.
Well, you carry that well.
Can you do it? Can you bring your marauders? Can you destroy the blight as far as we can see in every direction?
Much like Egghead, like as the Eggheads here, I'm bound and do not have as much say as others. I'm sure you met my compatriots, Lachlan. It will require much.
Yes.
Yes, the angry. Yes.
We all have our Lachlans to bear in life.
What do I know about our timeline? We're pretty much getting ready to fly out of here at the end of this, right? We're not going to stick around, right?
Up to Anko.
I mean, I think the general plan was to get the information that we needed, maybe some refined hydrogen for our aerospace fighters for all the scouting missions, and then go.
Who's my most trusted second in command on my mercenary company?
You mean Samuel Barrett?
All right. I'm going to say I'm going to do everything I can.
Okay.
I will get you those years. And I will, in confidence to Samuel Barrett, I'll say, do whatever needs. This is an order. Do whatever is necessary to delay the launch of this dropship by 2 days.
Okay.
Because I assume our super mechs our super marauders are here, right? They're ready to go, right?
You have
nothing needs to be dropped down, right?
You didn't bring your mercenaries, right? You brought the nobles on that dropship. You can bring Barrett and
that's fine. There's no time. There's no time to bring them down. Oh, so then, right? He's not on this fucking ship. Is there anyone on this thing that I trust besides myself here? And obviously my friends.
Badger?
There's no mercenary company. Badger wouldn't do this. I need some. But what I'm trying to do is lightly
sabotage. Do this. Defying Lachlan is Badger's #1 thing right now.
That's kind of true, and honestly, that would be incredible.
Doing the right thing is very important to Badger.
And he trained with Jasper.
And Badger have a previous relationship.
I know. It's honestly kind of. You're right. That's actually fucking incredible. All right, sorry. So obviously, it's not going to be Barrett. I will love to try to convince Badger that our dropship needs to be damaged in a way that will.
Oh, there's no way he'll ever agree to that. Like when you say that, he's just like, no, that's treason.
I need 2 days. This ship cannot be prepared to fly off for 2 days. But hold on, that's what I'm getting to. But
what happens.
I'm describing a lot of the stuff about. I'm relating to him about Jasper.
Let's start the conversation with Badger. Then you step away. Let's start there. Use a communication. Badger answers the call, but in the background you can hear somebody go.
No, it has to be in person. All right. I would never put this over in air.
All right, go ahead. You head back to the ship. I
have to come to him hat in hand for this.
We're gonna cut back to Anko and Lachlan.
Yeah, definitely.
Lachlan, these people do not have a complicated society. They don't have a complicated military structure. From what little you can see and hear from them, they think that they are the greatest warriors who have ever lived because they control the 12 members of the 13. They are not high nobles, nor are they Alexander Kerensky in a mech. They have, however, pegged that you, the angry man silently sitting in the back, occasionally interjecting, is the actual person who's in charge. They notice Anko's giving a lot of commands, but that you're the one making the like, oh, that wasn't a good idea, or no, that's not what we're gonna do, Anko, sort of deal. And there are what they believe subtly discussing it while conspicuously not glancing at you. So what do you and Anko want to do while they're basically drawing up the contracts to get all of the children out of High Sierra? It's 190 children that will be indentured to a mercenary company. They're also preparing the information that you've asked for, the data about the blip. Although that appears to be a conference, someone will have to go talk to the Egghead clan about that, and no one really is in a big rush to go talk to Emirate Egghead. However, I should say that Yusuf now has a Betamax with all of the data downloaded onto it. All 20 megabytes of data that they have gathered throughout the years.
Oh Jesus.
I think Lachlan is pretty uninterested by all of this. He feels pretty sure at this point that if they have this information, it's this blip thing, but he's not really very optimistic that they have anything useful for him at this point.
Yeah, I think there's a consensus there with I mean, this is I think the difference between where Yusuf came from and where Anko and Lachlan came from is we were the utilitarian voice of we're on a long mission. You know, the more things that we get, the more resources it will take. That said, I think there's kind of that protocol. I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing here, but also the negotiations of like making sure things don't break down here to ensure that we have some leg to stand on. So from that perspective, I think all the children seems like a lot. 192 kids.
190.
190. Sorry.
And that is what Mr. Yusuf committed to.
Oh, I thought it was like the 57, 50.
No, he said all of them.
Oh, wow.
As many as I can afford.
Yeah.
And then some.
So I think there's like
I'm willing to take adults too if anyone wants to leave, by the way.
Yeah.
As long as there's space on the ship, I will occupy it. With people who
I
want to
love
leave.
that Anko is the one who's making out like a bandit on rental space right now.
Yeah, I know it's
The
true.
landlord always wins, right?
It's true. I mean, yeah.
From Lachlan's perspective, as long as
There's no money. There's not even glory in this.
the way that Lachlan sees this is that he's just giving Yusuf rope to hang himself.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so he's like, all right, well, I'm not going to stop you here, but the time is going to eventually come where I need something from you. And then I'm going to be like, remember how you co-opted my mission and saved all those fucking kids. Now it's my turn to say what we're doing.
And I'll say, you mean the blip, but that the rant and give him the exposition that I got from Egghead. But I mean, not that point, but yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I think if we're taking the kids, I would put on the table, you know, hydrogen refueling and that sort of thing. But
they'll give you
I can't.
They'll give you enough hydrogen to refill your fleet stores to max.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing is, I can't give away that the eggheads gave me that information and then use that as leverage against Lachlan, because Lachlan would just bypass me and go right to the eggheads. So like, I can't do that, right? Don't actually have that power. But I need. Part of me thinks that if I also stay and fight without damaging the ship and talking to Badger, you will leave without me. So like, I don't know what to do. I have to get Badger to agree to come with me as well, because I don't think you'll leave two
I think
people.
your mercenaries back at the fleet might disagree with that.
That's honestly true, and they would actually.
Oh yeah,
they might.
What are you gonna fight though? I thought
they're on your ship.
No, it means what are you gonna fight on this planet?
Yeah,
the fungus. Like I'm basically. I thought basically you don't want to waste any more time here. In my head, you're the enemy because your argument is I don't want to waste any more time. This is a waste. I'm out. I don't care about these.
But
people,
I guess
right?
I'm confused what you're fighting, because their own scientist is saying that like the planet's fucked.
Yeah, but they don't believe that guy.
Yeah.
But
so here's
I'm fighting an image of you in my head. Okay, that's really what's coming down to it.
What
Sam.
I'm confused is
Like,
I don't understand
sure.
what
physical enemy.
What is the win for Yusuf?
Yeah.
The win here is just doing something good for somebody.
What does he want to do? Like
That.
no,
Expressly that.
What's the good thing?
The good thing is I just bought these people 5 years.
So my understanding is
I traded guns for time.
The physical enemy is the blight, and Yusef is offering to clear the blight back to a certain extent, so that they have time to move people or do whatever they need to in High Sierra.
Yeah.
And right now, Yusef is combating against you for the time to do that.
You guys haven't actually clashed about that yet.
And we have not clashed about it.
But that's the
you're both
that's
fighting
the
each other
game.
in your
That's the game.
heads.
I know we were fighting each other. I know. Okay, but we saw that. Right. So maybe I don't talk to Badger yet. I have to talk to you, Lachlan. You're right.
All right.
Sorry.
So you re-enter the room, and Jameson moves to stop you and says, "Whoa, I can't let you back into these chambers. It is the law. Those who exit cannot return until the discussion is over." Sorry, this is it a bit more southernly.
Yeah, I won't interrupt I won't break their protocols.
He turns to look at the rest of the room and says, "Maybe we should take 20. Take a walk. We'll come back." Carlita, flag number 3, basically is just like, "I'm not coming back. If you're taking the kids, you can take them. I don't need any other part in this discussion. My job's done here." Several other of them are just like, "Yep. Like, I'm good with what's happened here today. Like, this works out in my favor. I got a port to get back to."
Yeah,
Sorry, I got a fort to get back to.
All right. I have to. You go ahead.
No. I mean, I think the one confusion is that like they haven't even put up. They said we'll give you all these kids and the data, and they haven't asked us to do anything. I think that's where my confusion is.
What they're saying is that like us taking the kids is payment for them.
Yes, you believe that they're selling the kids to you. They believe the opposite.
You're basically we're saving the kids, and that is the payment for the information.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
You believe they were the bad guys all along, but in fact,
this is a really good scenario, AP. This is really good.
It's a moral quandary for sure, because we're like, oh, the kids.
So I cannot wait, because I have to come up with an amazing speech about doing the right thing for the right reasons, not for personal gain. And that's what I have to try to convince you two of doing.
The three of you,
and how you're going to build a crutch.
The three of you are gathering together here. You've got the Betamax with the blip data in your hand. When you hear a alarm klaxon, Star League Defense Force standard issue, and you hear a voice call out and say, "Perimeter 3 is broken. All active marauders, report to Perimeter 3. And you can see, like, the leaders in this room were all getting ready to go, and, like, everyone turns to look at Carlita, and she's just like, oh, fuck. She starts running outside, like, shouting at people, and she's just like, get number 3 ready to go. Someone find me a goddamn helmet. Is that ammo gun? Are we refueled? Fuck!
Ride out. And I cool. This is perfect, because I tell the two of them, ride out with me. Let's help these guys.
Okay, Riders of Rohan.
It's something. It's a little thing. It would do them some good. It would do them a lot of good. Come on, ride out with me.
Would it do any good?
Yes, it will provide them hope.
Hope for what?
Anything.
This place is already dead. They just haven't realized it yet.
Because they don't listen to the people that know.
Even in death, there's still hope. Ride out with me. I'm riding out with them. You can join me or not. I would love it if you would come with me.
I think there's like a moment of hesitation because of of like the utilitarian life that she's lived with Lachlan and after that experience with on the asteroid, but then remembers the kind of like conflict of morals that happened on the asteroid and says, if I can buy them a little bit of time, or at least you time, because you seem set on it regardless of what happens.
Show them.
Fine.
Yeah. Ride out with. Come on, Lachlan. You know, I do like my man, you know, kind of thing. You know, like is like we're ride out with us.
As he puts
Show
his
them.
hand on
Hold
your
on,
shoulder.
damn it, dude. Let me give my speech. Let me do my speech.
No, but let me just
Okay.
make it worse for a second. As he puts his hand on your shoulder, Lachlan, and you look at Yusuf, there's something about the way that he smiles that reminds you of Jasper. It's just the way he tilts his head, the way that his cheek comes back. All right, continue your ride out.
No, let's remind their world is doomed. Let's give them something worth fighting for. Let's give them camaraderie. Let's show them these bonds and this place and their past and their memories. Yeah, it's okay to die. We've been enough that they moved these greedy, odd, weird nobles from the Federated Sons to come and fight for them. Just give them that. Just a shred of dignity, honor. We can spare it. Right out.
I have no interest in doing anything for them, Yusuf. But if you must have it done, I'll do it for you.
That's Lachlan, you son of a bitch. I bring you in. I don't care why you as long as you say yes. You know what I mean?
You do this and like you like bring Lachlan like in like, close, right? And like he says like quietly so that like it's like next to your ear so that only you can hear it. He just says, I've given you this. Now you are truly mine.
Yeah, that's fine, dude. I will pay the prices for these people.
Yeah, you just claimed your soul apparently, like Shao Kahn from
Mortal
Kombat.
That's so
Exactly.
Man, I want to give these people a good life, man. That sounds sick. If I can do that by trading bullets for their time, I'll do it. That sounds amazing.
That's exactly how Lachlan feels. He sees that you care a lot about this, so he will give it to you. And in 20 years, he's going to take your firstborn.
Yeah, replace it with a fucking changeling.
Okay, Prince, what the hell?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
You thought my Ender's Game analogy was bad.
No, this is awesome. No, I love fighting for a doomed lost cause. I'm into it. My whole life has been lost causes. Let's do it.
Is a armless. It's like a oval pod with the long side up and down that has two little manipulator claws at the front that appear to open up into machine gun ports when the claws are fully open. And then something like a spear launcher on his shoulders. It's almost like if you're a Mechwarrior fan, like Timberwolf missile packs or like the Warhammer missile pack, but instead it launches barrage of spears on wire that will go out, hit something, and then pull back into it and prepare to pneumatically launch again. But you can like see they're
like tow missiles, like biological tow missiles.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I mean, they're not biological. They're definitely like titanium or something. Yeah.
Oh.
But they go out, they hit something, and then they pull back, and then you see the steam as it recharges to fire that particular pod again.
Ooh.
Carlita is like screaming as her section of High Sierra is being overrun. The blight has like pods that move across it so fast, and from out of the pods, like the pod will stop, and then like a dog creature will burst out of it and try to like land on her marauder and like force it to the ground, and she'll just spear it over and over again. Like it gets stuck in midair, it drops down, but while her spear cables are entangled with it, another one will jump at her, and the machine guns this thing is not super tall, right? It's only like 3 or 4 men tall, and fighting beside it are guys with machetes and like hand flamers.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Like they find the one that she has speared and they cut the spears out of it and begin like putting a flamethrower all up and down its body. It's like she's an armored knight and they are peasants that she is fighting to protect in a loose battle line. They have certain verbal call outs for how to reform the formation, like a flying V with her at the front, or like echelon.
Mighty ducks. Mighty ducks. Yeah. But yeah.
Ducks fly together.
I'm gonna let Carlita, and also I'll give Carlita the honor of commanding us.
Well, here's what happens, right? Like,
we're your sword.
She's like, I'm picking something up on the seismic sensors. It's huge. It's behind us. And she like turns around, and from around the side of a building, an imp steps around, and she's like, "Holy shit!" and Lachlan just unloads an alpha strike. That's for you guys, this is normal, right? You'd be like, I unloaded an alpha strike, like, okay, we chemically toxified the Haruka Highlands again. Big deal. Woof. For these people, it's like, oh my god, this is the end of the world. It's a fucking apocalypse.
Yeah, they've never seen a PPC.
Another one steps around behind it, and another one, until all 6 of the mechs and the Confederate are there. Even the Duchess is there in her Star League era Lancelot, just my god. She's not really shooting at anything in particular. She's just scoring the fungus in every direction. It's clear that she is not the best pilot, and the Lancelot is a weirdly shaped mech, so she's just kind of hovering around.
It's good battle experience.
Do you want to sally out and lead a counter push and just start destroying the fungus in every direction around the third fort?
I think it's Carlita's job. She's the hand that wields us. We're her sword.
All right, so Carlita's just like, if I got firepower like this, let's do it. And she gestures with her little manipulator object. Let's go. Beep. And then just starts running forward. Firing machine guns wildly.
I know it's comically, like, comparatively funny, but like I'm giving her as much respect as I can as I would any other person I'm serving, right?
Meanwhile, Lachlan's like eating a bag of chips while you're like piloting.
Dude.
Very casually just piloting.
So little fun.
I feel like the grasshopper like flies up onto one of the walls and just like puts down a volley as they like clear the path.
The wall collapses under the weight of your mech.
Oh shit! No, that's not what I wanted.
It's not even the weight of your mech. The force of you coming down to land, your jump jets collapse it. And you just land and crush a pile of rubble.
Sorry.
The people nearby are just like, yeah, awesome! Holy shit! This is the greatest moment of their lives. The machines they revere as basically techno gods come up to your hip.
Yeah. I know. We are giving them gods of gods. And think of these kids, man. This is the last thing they're gonna like really remember is the people they were going home with saved their families.
Several square kilometers in a circle away from High Sierra burn and smolder as radio reports from the Egghead clan travel to all the Egghead clans across the cities that someone has arrived, and maybe not everywhere, maybe not every day, but today the Grey Blight has been pushed back for the first time in generations. And it didn't take an explosion of a marauder to do it. These new super marauders have arrived. Now, my final question above the table is,
I want everyone in the planet to know that these super marauders are known from our people as Lachlan's.
I'll give you that one, dude.
Oh my fucking god.
McDougal's. Oh my god, dude. Battle McDougal's.
Marauders and McDougal's. You know what's bigger? You know what's better than a Marauder? A McDougal.
Oh my god.
My question for you, Anko, is will you order airstrikes? Will you pull your aerospace forces back to the Union, have them delivered into orbit, and use them as the eggheads have requested to perform aerial bombardment in every direction? Now, you don't have to drop bombs or anything. Just giving them a few hours of running around with lasers, just like laser strafing and setting fire to everything, and the people of the planet will top you off with some hydrogen. I mean, it'll be a huge loss for them, but also
Think how much,
the blight.
think how much money though. Yeah, but think how much money I'm also earning you by like having all these people on the ship. Like, just send the fucking.
I mean,
launch crew
you're
out.
gonna have to figure out the crutch situation, you know, with the kids.
Yeah, that's
but,
fine.
Uncle has already kind of set some stuff up with the nobility, but anyway, yeah, I think Anka would do it as like again, getting Yusef kind of in her pocket as well. Like, again, learning from like this is basically Anka's learning from Lachlan for years now as one of her or one of his like sort of a protege. Like, Anka was latched onto someone that seemed to know the political sphere better than her. And that's kind of what happened with in my head with Anka.
Love it.
Yeah, so I think, and if this is possible, AP, like this would be something where, are you saying that this would be something only around the High Sierra, or would be the other cities?
I mean, the High Sierra are the one who are paying for it.
That's true.
If you want to do the other cities, that's on you.
Because I am excited about this because, you know, I'm willing. I might end up being an antagonist to you two because Yosef is not going to play that politic game that you already did.
Yeah.
Are you committing to these aerial strikes?
If they're paying for hydrogen, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a big depletion of their stockpile, but they are willing to pay to buy them a few years, a few kilometers, a sight line worth of time.
Can there be a scene with like Egghead or something before we head out?
Well, no, because we're
already
definitely gonna pick up next time. But post-credit scene is Carlita setting up a forward operating base where the explosion happened, where one of the old marauders died that you were told about. She's setting up a fort, you know, in their honor, in their name. It's got like guns and flamethrowers in every direction, and it seems to be like they're planning sight lines and getting artillery, preparing ammunition supplies, because they know the blight is going to start coming back, and when it does, they want to beat it in the field away from the city and keep the city as safe as possible. Any closing thoughts on today's episode?
Dude, I love this, man. This was fucking good.
All I have to say is, I am the Eggman.
Okay.
They are the Eggman. I am the Walrus. Scooby-Gadoob.
There was a question today whether you guys are going to be facing mech combat, and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe if you want it. I knew that you wouldn't face combat from the Grey Blight because the Grey Blight is trivial to you. What I thought might happen is you might go to war against the city.
Just fucking destroy their cheap ass mechs.
The 6 of you versus 13, you know, half agromech, half junk.
Yeah, they're not even cattle. They're not even cattle mechs.
Through our armor.
I mean, yeah, like each of them has like one surviving weapon, but also they could just punch you, right?
Sure. Yeah, that would go really well for them, I'm sure.
But for every one they lose, they lose a city.
And like we just like pick them up and throw them across the space.
Like
into the Great Blight. The Great Blight.
Yeah, they like punch us, like dent our armor. We punch them, smash off a whim.
I mean, there was still the debate on whether or not the special forces team was going to be used. So I was kind of curious I still need to figure out how to make sure that they don't. I mean, it might come down to me doing like a leadership role and like putting them in their place and say like, your purpose will come. Patience is the sign of a true warrior. Something like that. Some like, you know, crazy shit like that. But yeah, so I'm curious to see how that plays out after all of this. Glad that we found out what the blip is. I'm very curious. I have so many questions about this ship. I'm probably most intrigued about, and glad that we have two ships to potentially chase after this thing.
Let me ask real quick. Can you make a science roll, McDougal, just so that I can have it for next time?
Just so I can science. Is somebody in the thing that wants to roll for me?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I gotcha. I'll roll.
I have a +5 to my science.
You have a 7 on the die for 12.
3 and a 4.
Let's go ahead and re-roll the 3 with one of my edge points.
Very well. It is now 2.
Well, sad day, but that's how it goes sometimes.
There is something in this data that you miss. Something that's key and critical and crucial. Perhaps you'll catch it on the next run.
Well, sometimes you lose in the rolling.
Just remember, folks, make sure to get fan art with your favorite McDougals at home.
Oh no. I'm just imagining like a big movie poster with the gray blight in the background, and like the day the McDougals
Arrived.
Dawn of McDougal.
The Dawn of McDougals, yes. Just like some cheesy
McDougal rim.
Yeah. It's like when the fissure was opened, or like a path way before
the
part of the
movie?
seas gray. Sorry.
What's the action movie series that is like really popular?
Fast and the Furious.
No, in the setting.
Oh, Immortal Warrior.
Immortal Warrior. McDougal Warrior.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Immortal McDougal.
McDougals aren't born immortal. They're forged in the fires of war.
Oh my god. It's like no, they're just called the Immortals.
Oh my goodness.
they're gods on this planet. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
gods and
All right.
bug gods.
We are not back next week, friends. Or how about in 2 weeks?
I think
Seems
that's
good.
okay.
That will be the 3rd.
I think that's I have family and friends coming. I believe that's in between those, so that should work.
Okay.
I'm probably okay, but there's a chance I will be doing something for the 4th.
Oh, the 4th of July. Yeah, that's true.
We'll check in when we're closer then.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Oh wow, it's dark.
Well,
We're good.
well, that's fine. I'm hitting the end of the recording now. Have a good
Yeah.
time zone, everyone.